Yo, what is going on guys, it's Counters for Life and welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video we're gonna show you how to S-rank every single boss except Calamari in Inkwell free in Cuphead. That's because I have already made a video on how to S-rank Calamari. Go check that out, like, subscribe, follow me on my Instagram and TikTok, and let's get into this. All of the background footage is gonna be my S-rank run, so you can look at it if you want to follow it. So we're gonna starting off by S-ranking Rumor Honeybottoms. Pause the video right now if you want to see the loadout that I used, and I think that is the objectively best loadout. And let's go into the boss fight. Starting off with the first phase, this is your chance to get some easy parries from the honeycomb bombs and to shoot the police officer with your crack shot. Miss Chalice's double jump make this boss so much easier since you're gonna be jumping a lot through the entire fight. Miss Chalice's dash parry also works very good in this phase, since this is the phase you're gonna get most of your parries. Now going into the hardest phase of the boss fight, stage 2. In the second phase, Rumor Honeybottom can appear in 3 forms, one in the middle, one on the right and one on the left. You can see the one in the middle, which is the one that's the easiest in my opinion. It's just a bunch of jumping and dodging, but you're gonna get a lot of damage. For the left side, it spawns a triangle which shoots more triangles which are parryable, so if you don't have all your parries, try to do it with this one. Also use your lobber since it's easy damage and deals a lot more damage than the crack shot. I didn't happen to get the right side on my attempt, but it spawns a ball which is parryable, so just go around it and circle it around and try to deal as much damage as possible. During the phase transitioning, just deals as much damage as possible with the lobber, and also, I forgot to say this, but use your super every time you can, and if you have the Miss Chalice super too, use that. In the final phase, you wanna shoot upwards with the lobber so it bounces down on Rumor Honeybottoms, and otherwise the attacks should be pretty easy to dodge by just moving around from side to side. I will say this is one of the harder bosses that may take a couple of attempts, but otherwise I would say it's not the most difficult. And here is the proof I indeed got the S rank. Next up we got the hardest boss according to many people, Dr. Kahl's robot. As this is an airplane boss, the only thing we care about is the charm, which I'm using the relic, and if you want to know how to get that, I might make a video on it too. So I always like to start with targeting the antenna and then parry the middle laser and then shoot the things that are coming out of his chest. In that order you can get everything done and do as much damage as possible. As you can see, parries aren't the problem with getting this S rank, it's mostly the health since it's a pretty hard boss fight. But if you just look at what I do, you can see that the parries, if you have the heart ring or the relic, you can get a bunch of hearts. The bombs that are coming out of the stomach is very annoying, also since the radius is massive. So my actual tips are just to dodge a lot, parry a lot, and just try to not lose your health too much. If you have under like 3 hearts with the heart ring in the first phase, I would probably just restart. Now I always save my nuke for the second phase, as you can see here, because you can just instantly destroy him, which makes it very easy. Now we have the phase that everyone dreads, especially in expert mode, the final phase. Some good things to know about this phase is that there's always gonna be a lot of parries, and the blue diamonds and the red diamonds have different patterns. You wanna get as many parries as possible since you wanna nuke the boss as much as possible, since you can beat it as fast as possible to get the S rank. The mini mode in the airplane is also very important here for when you get into tight situations with the electric board and the shots. As you can see here, this phase is very long and he has very much health and it drags on for a while, so just try to stay consistent. If he's getting low but you also don't have much AP, you can actually tank a shot with your nuke, but now we have Next
him
up,
done,
let's
and
head
here's
to a
the
much
S rank
easier
proof.
boss, Captain Brineybeard. This is the Captain Brineybeard loadout I use, but Captain Brineybeard is one of those bosses where you can really use either one. So starting off with the first phase, there's not really a lot he can do. the first thing you're gonna notice is the barrel that's hanging above, which is gonna smash down on you. And it can also pull out a fish and shoot balls, which are parryable. This barrel isn't hard to dodge, but it is the bane of my fucking existence. Can also get one of 3 things: the dogfishes, the squid, and the shark. The dogfishes are the easiest to dodge because you can both kill them and just jump over them if you need to. The squid is also pretty easy since you don't take any damage by it, but you can also just shoot it down as fast as possible. After you hear the sound cue, look at this square in the background to see if you see the shark tail. The shark is the hardest since it can get you in many tough situations, but it has a sound cue, and when you hear the sound cue, just push yourself as much as you can to the right without taking any damage. Here is the sound cue. When you deal enough damage in the face, the boat will start shooting cannonballs out of its mouth, and it will still be in the first phase. This phase and this boss in general is one of the easier ones from this isle, but I would still recommend getting as many parries as possible just to get as many supers as possible. The background footage is a little bit faster, just so we can get to the second phase. The first thing you're going to notice in this phase is that the barrel is still here, but the ship has transformed and it's shooting fireballs. This phase is very cheesy because you can just sit in 2 places and roll between them if the barrels come down, and the fireballs can never hit you. If the ship decides to go Super Saiyan, you can just dodge under it, and once again if the barrel comes under, you can just dodge roll. This phase is very cheesy and very easy, so once you get here you have probably secured the S rank if you have gotten all the requirements right, especially the parries, which is very easy because of the first phase. And now, as usual, here is the S rank proof. Now we have by far the easiest boss, Wener Werman. This is the loadout I used. Let's get into it, starting with the first phase. In the bomb attack, he shoots bombs and they explode into little bombs when they land on the floor, so you just kinda have to jump and dodge them. Next is the scrap attack, where he shoots a lot of scraps, and here is where you're gonna get most of your parries. The dash attack is also very easy with Miss Challenge, since you can double jump and dash over it, or just dash into the dashboards. All 3 of these attacks are very easy, so this phase should be no problem. Let's head on to the second phase. In the second phase, you're immediately going to notice all the bottle caps on the side, which are very annoying, and they're gonna pop out at some times, but sometimes the whole wall will pop out. The best way to deal with this is either to jump above them or duck below them. Wener Werman is gonna be either on the top or the bottom and rotate, and he's gonna shoot his flamethrower on both sides, so just make sure you're not on the same floor as him. Since this is a very enclosed battle, the spread shot is gonna work wonders. As you can see here, the hitboxes of the bottle caps are very janky, so you can still get away with stuff like this. Now during the phase transition and the first phase, you're gonna be very enclosed once again, so just jump and use your spread shot as much as possible. The prison rats come out of the cat's mouth and they can shoot balls at you, but they can also be parryable, but they explode in a very similar pattern to the first phase. He also has the scratch attack, where he scratches from one side to the other, dropping planks on the way, and this one is also very easy to dodge by just rolling around. I would recommend double jumping and using your spread shot EX, as it deals massive damage, and this is very good now in the end. That's Wener Werman defeated, and as usual, here is the S rank proof. Next up we have another easy one, and this is Sally's Stageplay. Let's get into it. As usual, pause the video for the loadout, let's get into it. Starting off with the first phase, it is very important to get the 2 kiss parries, because these are the only 2 parries you're gonna get, and then maybe one in the third phase. So the parries is really gonna be the problem of this boss. The other attack is her just throwing a fan at you or teleporting on you. And obviously there is the classic jump in the air and try to dive on you. All around, this phase is very easy, it's just a lot of dodging, but the hardest part is getting the 2 parries. Now we are moving on to the second phase. There's a house in the background where there can be babies in the windows dropping baby bottle. She also has the umbrella rat attack, which makes it very enclosed, which is therefore one of the harder attacks. She still has the jump attack and the fan attack. I don't really have any tips for this phase because it's a pretty shit phase, but just spam the roundabout. Now she dies, but it's sadly not over because we're in the third phase. In the third phase, she turns into some sort of cartoon goddess, I don't really know. She has 3 attacks and you can see which attacks she's gonna do at the top left of the screen. And she has the meteor, the lightning and the wave. The lightning is the hardest, though it's not hard because you just kind of have to run around and jump a little bit. But the meteor does literally nothing except you can shoot it to create a parryable star. Sadly, this does not count for the parries for S rank. With Miss Chalice, you can just double jump over the wave or just parry the star. She is still not dead, which means we're in the 4th phase. The last phase is also really important for this fight because you have to get all 3 parries to get this rank, and the last one can only be obtained in the last phase. As you can see, there's an umbrella on the floor spinning side to side and roses dropping then and there. This is like the only reason why we only have the chaser in the loadout, because it makes this phase so easy. And as always, here's the S rank proof. The last boss of today is the Phantom Express. Let's get into it. So I forgot to record the loadout, but here is the loadout for Phantom Express. So in the first phase, the ghost will shoot eyeballs at you, and this is where the convert shot is really good, because the convert shot, if you just lock it in, it kills all the eyeballs and deals damage at the same time. You may notice that the card you are standing on is parryable, and there's gonna be the pumpkins at the top who are gonna try to mess you up by dropping parryable bricks. But you can also get a lot of easy parries this way. In the second phase, the pumpkins are still there, but now we have a man and 2 hands, and he is gonna try to smash down his hands on you when you are standing on the cart, but you just gotta stay on the side that he isn't, in the middle, right or the left. You obviously want to target his head and still use the convert shot for maximum damage, because the chaser, as in the stage play, is mostly used for the last phase. By now, the phase should be nearing its end, and you should also have been getting a lot of parries. The first thing you're going to notice in this phase is the 2 things on the sides, and there's gonna be spawning ghosts out of the middle. The 2 things on the sides are gonna shooting lightning down at you, but if you squeeze yourself to either side, you can dodge them both either way. The ghosts in this phase are more so to replace the pumpkins, because when you shoot the ghost, they're gonna drop a parry skull, which is gonna try to discomfort you from the cart. With that out of the way, we are now moving on until the last phase. Now we're at the 4th phase, and this is by far the most complicated phase because he has a lot of attacks and mechanics. You may notice that he has a tail that is parryable, and you have to parry that tail to open up his heart, which is the thing you're gonna shoot. Kind of like Ribby and Croak's bank. And obviously use the chaser here. He has the fireballs attacks, which are just fireballs that is gonna shoot down and then not target you, and then we have the fire ring, which is gonna try to target you. All in all, this phase and this boss fight as a whole is pretty easy, and now we are finally done with this boss. And as usual, here is the S rank proof. If you wanna see Inkwell Hell and the DLC, just like, subscribe, and come back for more videos in the future. Hope you all have an amazing day. See ya.